name is Johnson Akongaburi, Director Trade Licensing, Nairobi City County.
Good morning, Chair, honorable members. My name is Christine Ireri. I'm the County Attorney. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair, honorable members. My name is Patrick Analo, Chief Officer, Urban Development and Planning.
Good morning. My name is Susan Selentoi. I'm the CEC for Health, Wellness and Nutrition.
Good morning. My name is Nigel. I'm the Revenue Officer.
Good morning. My name is Paul Mwangi, Revenue Reporting.
Through the chair, good morning, members. My name is Job Moura, Head of Press.
Good morning, Chair, honorable members. I'm Cecilia Koivu, Chief of Sakaja. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and members. Marshall Wekenda, Chief Officer Mobility, Acting Chief Officer ICT Infrastructure. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and members. My name is Patrick Wanjohi from the County Treasury.
We have the lady behind the governor. You're on record.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, honorable members. My name is Asha Abdi. I'm the Chief Officer Finance. Thank you.
Is that all for the executive? Yeah, the rest are members of the fourth estate who are actually our partners in this. So welcome all. Clerk, please administer oath to the governor.
Thank you, Chair. I was looking for Swahili one. This English. I, Sakaja Arthur Johnson, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you.
Chairman.
Please table the documents that we'll be using and the annexures that we'll be using in this meeting.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to officially table the management responses and accompanying annexures for the report of the Auditor General on audited financial statements on receiver of revenue for the County Executive of Nairobi City County for the financial year 2023-2024.
Yeah, thank you. Now, members, let's agree to start with the ROR, receiver of revenue. Let's see how far we can go. And then we have a test of the executive, but still we can decide if we agree, members, that because there's an ongoing audit for the executive and all the unresolved issues would be in the certificate, in the upcoming audit or in the ongoing audit, then we just concentrate on ROR and give it enough justice. Members, are we in agreement?
I think that is the best route, Chair, now that nothing so much about from the OAG, from the executive. I think we can deal with the receivable revenue for now.
Anybody to second? So that then we'll be adjusting our agenda.
Second, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Dulo. So let's just look at ROR and we leave the executive statements for another time. Not for another time, but the unresolved matters, we shall look at them in the upcoming audit or in the ongoing audit. Now, auditor, did you engage the governor and his team? Did you get the documents in good time on the implementation of the ROR report recommendations by the Senate?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we did.
Have you engaged?
Yes.
Clerk, did we get our responses in good time?
Yes, Chair. I do
We are good to go?
Yes.
Thank you. Auditor, we can start with the first issue, lack of aging, analysis listing of revenue in arrears. What is still outstanding in that query? You might want even to go through it so that we see what was there.
Thank you, Chair. Issue number 1, Lack of aging analysis, listing of revenue in arrears. The statement of arrears of revenue reflects total outstanding revenues in arrears of Kenya shillings 1,396,118,578. However, this was not supported with a listing of all individual debtors as per the aging analysis. As a result of the system's lack of an aging analysis feature for outstanding balances, it was not possible to distinguish between current and prior debts, including doubtful debts. These limitations poses challenges in prioritizing collection efforts, particularly for older debts that may require unique strategies. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of the total arrears of Kenya shillings 1,509,346,118,578 could not be confirmed. Thank you.
Yeah, Governor, what do you have to say about that?
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, initially, okay, let me read the response. The county conducted an aging analysis of all individual debtors from which the block figures were derived. The county continues to maintain records of all debtors demarcated by the age and the time. The county maintains adequate books of account relating to revenue collection and debt management. Chair, we've implemented that. We've attached in the first appendix the aging analysis and also the land rate debt age analysis, which we've sent on soft copy. And it's indeed quite a tidy sum that we've been able to provide that, Chair.
Auditor, did you look at the aging analysis report by the executive of Nairobi? What is still outstanding in that query?
Thank you, Chair. The report is still under review.
So then how do we cure it?
Since the audit is still in progress, we can conclude and give the status of the same.
Okay. Governor, we had proposed that the accounting officer who did not do reconciliation, that you undertake administrative action. Sorry. Should ensure, okay, yeah, no, our recommendation was accounting officer should ensure adequate books of accounts are kept relating to revenue, collection and debt, management. Yeah, there was no administrative action. So this is something you can keep in view because there's an ongoing audit, Senator for Nairobi.
Governor, if you look at your aging analysis, we have more than 96%, actually 97% of these outstanding rates being more than 3 years old. Perhaps you could shed light on the plan that you have as a county to recover those amounts.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, my Senator for Nairobi, Senator Sifuna. Chair, I was here recently. Which committee was it? I think devolution.
Devolution, yes.
And you explained that one of the big challenges that our city has is a resourcing issue in terms of financing its operations. Chair, very many of our residents, because the bulk of this debt is in land rates and property taxes. Chair, previously there was no proper legal framework for us to be able to pursue land rate defaulters. Subsequently, we are very happy that the Senate has passed legislation on the national rating law, which was assented to in December 2024. There are some guidelines and regulations that are still to be published by the CS of lands as per that law. But we have done our part. We've actually done our county law on rating, on regularization of unauthorized developments, as well as the process through which we can be able to get this money. Chair, if you look at this city, around 250,000 parcels, let's say 200,000 parcels of land exist. However, those who have actually opened accounts with the county on our system are not more than 60,000. And so we've been pursuing them. I'm sure you've seen us listing in the newspapers people who are supposed to, the landed defaulters with their big amounts. a lot of data was missing from the Ministry of Lands that we've since been able to get. And there are a number of strategies that we're now pursuing, including debt recovery, going to court, auctioning of these parcels. Because if you look at Section 19 of the Rating Act, it gives us, those options that a county can take, including denial of services, charging property, taking over a building and taking the rent. So we're in that process. However, Chair, I'd like to note that over the last 3 years, we've had a significant increase in the revenue from that area, just because of, forming teams within the sub-counties that have been going out. You've seen us clamping buildings. I think the popular one you saw was the Freemason building, where many of my very brave and gallant officers went to places people are afraid to go to. And we've seen people responding, based on those enforcement notices. So we continue to pursue it. The help we need from the Senate is really in pursuing the ministry to set up what they're supposed to set up, including the National Rating Tribunal. Because, Chair, before we had a 1965 law, the Valuation for Rating Act, which set up what we call a valuation court. Chair, we were the first county to use that law in 2020 when we got in to set up our valuation court, which the Chief Justice gave us a magistrate to set up the court in the county, because we are the first one with an up-to-date valuation role. Most counties are in the 1980s valuation role. We're in our 2019 valuation role with updated values for land. We're now doing our new valuation law. However, when this law was brought into the National Rating Act of 2024 was brought into what do you call it? When it was passed and assented to, it changed that entire regime. So you no longer have a valuation court. What you have is a county rating committee that is set up, but the appeal structure requires a national rating tribunal. Now that has not been set up by the Ministry of Lands. So we've done our part as a county. We continue to pursue these cases. I have my county attorney here and our debt collection team. But more than that, because I think beyond just being punitive is really encouraging the people that you need to pay and to do your part. The normal Nairobian, the Mamamboga, is paying 50 shillings every day or 100 shillings based on a finance law. But the richer people with big tracts of land and buildings are the ones who are defiant. So really to encourage them, we're doing more of customer awareness. We have created more customer service centers across the county in 6 areas, and I can give you the list. And those drives are actually helping people realize, okay, now I can come forth and pay and regularize, which we've passed our law. So the only thing that is missing is from the national government, the Ministry of Lands on that issue of rating.
Let me just check here. Do you have cases that require the attention of the National Rating Tribunal? Because I think, and legal counsel corrects me, that National Rating Tribunal is supposed to be set on ad hoc basis when need be. It's not something that would just be said and be there by the Minister of Lands. Maybe you can check as we continue. But do you have cases that require that?
Chair, within the legal infrastructure, if one part is missing, people can actually, litigate against it. Because we have done our part. Remember, with the 2019 valuation rule, when the valuation court was set, we already had around 3,500 cases of people who had disputed, the valuation. So the cases are there. And we said for those who dispute their valuation, they pay their old rates, but we still pursue that legal redress. So we do need that tribunal put in place, Chair.
Just for your information, Governor and Chair, there is actually a law that is in the Senate now, one of those NADCO bills that criminalizes or imposes a criminal penalty on people who fail for some reason to put in place the subsidiary legislation that is required under laws. So I am sure that once that is done, because I remember that conversation around the coroner's bill is one of those that whose implementation has taken long because we do not have the subsidiary legislation. So I think that should be able to cure it, because we don't have to keep pushing these people in government to do what is they are required to do when the law is there. So I think that should be able to sort it out.
Chair, in addition, one of the places of huge potential is on a law again that we passed in this house on sectional properties. Chair, with the current regime, you find that, and I'll give an example, maybe not Runda Gitogoro, maybe Kileleshwa. One house on half an acre, paying the same rate as its neighbor with 60 apartments. You know, I pushed at the summit that we have a retirement of the RDA, which is the Registration of Documents Act, so that we compel every unit owner to have a sectional title. Because each and every apartment or each and every office space in the city that has ownership and a sectional title should pay their rent and their rates. Just the implementation of that can move us to close to 50 billion shillings. And so it was one of the resolutions in summit because I pushed it at that level. But I believe, again, as my senator has said, the implementation of what is already provided, because the law has been passed. Legislators, we do your part. As counties, we do our part. But somebody does not see the urgency of implementing that. Chair, the needs in this city are huge and vast, but they require that kind of financing.
We're supposed to implement that.
So that, again, is the
Under
ministry.
sectional properties, if each unit of flat has a title deed.
Yes, so the guidelines as well as the provisions to retire the RDA is the role of the national government. So that then you can transition them, because somebody has to get a surveyor, and the government can provide those surveyors to come survey the sectional units and then provide that sectional titling. That is done at the national level. Chair, that would really solve our issues, because we're appealing. It is not fair that the burden of the city or the county or any county be carried by few people. Our constitution says that the burden of taxation must be shared equitably across, and it's not expensive. Chair, we've also allowed people to pay in installments. You know, you can pay your rates over 10 months, so that you leave 2 months for implementation. So we'll really be looking at you, you know, for support on in that line. Because if you see our aging analysis, we're talking about $1 trillion. The challenges we have, whether it is water, whether it is garbage, whether it is potholes, whether it is roads, drainage, etc., need financing. And that financing exists out there. So, Chair, I think I can leave it at that. Maybe if my CC wants to add anything.
It's okay. Senator,
is that okay?
Chair, I thought you said you wanted us to be efficient.
Yes.
I think governor should be precise so that we move fast. Chair, my only concern is
concise.
Precise and concise with an eye of a military marksman. Chair, I've seen in less than 1 year, between 1 to 2 years, that comes to around 7 billion. This is the time you have been in office. What have you done about it? And then number two, Chair, I've heard the governor trying to explain on the legal implementation. The fact that the law has been assented, the agencies must implement unless there is delegated. My only concern is that looking at your financial statements, Governor, one of your reasons on the issue of land rates was a result of petition objecting new valuation role and land disputes. You have not alluded to that. So kindly, apart from the legal aspect, what did you mean in your own financial statements? And then on property rent, the underperformance was caused by demolition of some properties to pave way for a new housing scheme. So how does it affect with this pending, not pending bill per se, that you are being ordered 1.5 billion? So on this 1.5 trillion, 1.5 trillion on the issue of property rent and land rates, how do you intend to achieve? Because I've heard you speaking about the strategy. How will you implement this strategy when there is a petition objecting the new valuation rule, or this one has been resolved? Chair, I yield back.
Yes, Governor.
Chair, that is exactly what I've explained. Those petitions were in what we call the valuation court. Now that has been done away with the new Rating Act, and hence the need for a national rating tribunal. So we are waiting for that tribunal to be set up. However, the disputes, 3,000 disputes out of 250,000 parcels, it does not stop us implementing, and that is what we've been implementing. Chair, also, if you look at the last 3 years I've been in office, there's been a steady increase in, revenue from land rates and even from rents. So that is what I was talking about in terms of the valuation court and the need for the tribunal. And I agree very much with my friend, the Senator Fernande, that people where there's delegated legislative responsibility, there needs to be timelines. And I really like the law that Senator Sifuna is talking about, that it is not at your discretion that you do your part when you feel like. You need to do it because it's hampering the performance of mandate by different entities. On the issue of rent, yes, when we move into development, we have an urban renewal plan. Chair, we are building 73,600 units in this city as a county. When I became governor, I found 8,991 units that were old estates built by the, different councils from the colonial times from 1940, starting with Ziwani, moving to Bahati, moving to Kaloleni, etc., including Woodley. Chair, now we are actually developing 73,000 units within the first 3 years. Now, what happens is that when you move into a certain place where there has been need to demolish certain units, then you lose that revenue. But Chair, because this will help us answer other questions, we've had a very aggressive drive in terms of rents. It was very unfortunate that there had to be certain evictions in certain areas. But that revenue alone has gone up by more than 238%. We have estates today with zero default, zero. If I could share with you pictures of my customer service center yesterday and the day before, it was full because people are now paying. Because it is really unfair for someone in the city to live in a house, and I'll give an example, a house, an apartment of 3 bedrooms within the city, and the rent is 10,000 shillings, and you have not paid for 5 years. You have, a default, amount outstanding liability of 1 million shillings. And Chair, somebody next door in an informal settlement who pays 2,000, when they don't pay the rent, the door is removed, the roof is removed, yet that person would actually want that opportunity to stay there. Imagine half an acre of land. You all know property in Nairobi. Half an acre in Woodley with a 3-bedroom house at 17,000 shillings. This is social housing, really. But then you find somebody with arrears of 5 million shillings. And so we had to take that tough decision. It was not, very, very nice in some instances, but people actually complied. Everybody who's been able to pay has been allowed to pay. And if you go today to Jamhuri Estate, for instance, you'll find 0 arrears. If you go to Harambee Estate, 0 arrears. And it has gone up by more than 238%. Sometimes tough decisions need to be made in the best interest because the houses belong to all the people of Nairobi and the people of Kenya. So, Chair, we see that within the next 18 to 36 months, when we'll have concluded, because we have JVs of urban renewal in 9 estates, then that revenue from rentals for these people of Nairobi is going to, you can compare 8,000 houses that I found to 73,800 houses. It's really going to go up. But for a period, when you're doing that construction, you will lose that revenue. In only areas, and I agreed, we had an issue, and my senator gave very good suggestions of where there's an open space, you begin with constructing, like Jericho. We said minimal disruption, You start with constructing in that where there's an open space. Then once that has been built, you decant and you move the people into those completed buildings. We're about to conclude Jivanji and bachelors that had been stuck for many years before you got in. We've helped them refinance it. And we're about to conclude actually between December, actually next month, and mid next year. Both of those estates should be done. So that is where we are, Chair. And what I want to add, again, I got a suggestion from here, is a signage in some of those estates that this painting of your buildings has been paid for by your taxes. This road in the estate, this beautification is paid for by your rent. So that people can see the value of being, on time and that we value the rents that they pay, Chair.
So Auditor, you're saying that we didn't have aging analysis, listing of revenue, arrears, and you're saying that it has been given in soft copy, you're still reviewing it, but we want you to give us comfort that do you have the list of all the debtors which should account for this 1.5 trillion? Do you have the list of those debtors? We are still reviewing also. We give it time.
It is still work in progress, Chair. We can
Governor, do you think you have listed all the debtors?
Yes, Chair, we've listed, but remember, this is not a static list. You can give the list, then somebody pays, or somebody then sort out their debt.
No problem, but at least have we given a list?
Yes, we've given all documentation. Okay. And they have access. We can give them full access to the system, such that when there are changes, and somebody pays, depending on the time in the financial year, they can be able to see and update it as we move ahead.
Okay, think and progress. Variance between reported revenue.
Sure. Just note that at the aging analysis by age list there, the percentage exceeds the 100% by 0.1%.
What is that again? Just come again, please. Just point us
Chair,
where you want us to.
yeah, and that annex, the annex we are referring to, that contains the aging analysis table, the percentages shown there that range from less than 1 year to more than 3 years exceeds 100% by 0.1%.
Governor?
Chair, that is just simple rounding, the number of decimal points.
Okay.
So normally you'll have that.
It's about 1.5 billion, maybe what you have.
Okay.
Chair, if you put the full decimal, it is long. You know, if you see 96.95,
yes,
it's a rounding error. It is not the percentage. If you round it off to the nearest, 5 or 10, that's when you lose it. But the actual numbers are there. So the percentage is just for illustration, Chair.
Governor, but that has a meaning when you say you round off and you round off to 100.01%. It has a meaning. Meaning.
Dr. Lego has done a lot of the statistics. So, okay.
But
Maybe-
Chair, the
yes.
error that Uhuru committed the country into danger.
Yes.
So even if it is 1.5.
Chair, we can give the full decimal points.
Yes.
Yes.
For the comfort of my friend Senator Fosamburu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that
but the specific numbers, the actual numbers, are what is listed above there.
Okay. Dr. Lege? That's okay. So there's a variance between reported revenue and transaction schedules. Auditor, what is still outstanding in that query?
Thank you, Chair. What is still outstanding is the reconciliation of the balances.
Governor, you're not able to reconcile. Your officers are not able to reconcile, to do reconciliation. What do you have to say?
Chair, the reconciliations were done. What was not seen was 3 M-Pesa transactions when M-Pesa sweeps, and they were swept, I think, over 2-3 days. We've attached those appendices, coming to 32.9 million shillings, which are 3 days collection. They were in fact received in the county bank account. We have the statements. We have an Appendix 2A, which is the reconciliation of the transactions, 2B, which is the extract from M-Pesa statements of 3 transactions worth 32 million, extract of COP bank statements confirming receipt of those amounts into the utility account, closed accounts transfers to CRF, that is 2D, and reconciliation statement.
Auditor, am I reading these figures correctly? The variance is not the 32 million for the 3 M-Pesa transactions only. There is a variance of, is that 2 billion I'm seeing?
Yes, it's 2 billion. That's quite substantial, Governor.
Chair, that is the hospital's revenue. I'll ask my chief officer for the receiver of revenue to actually explain completely. Normally when we report, we report our entire amount. That is what comes into CRF, plus the FIF amount that goes to the hospitals. We report all of it, but I think it is audited differently because you remember the hospitals are audited as their own entities, and for that we come to the Public Investment Committee. So that normally gives you that difference. You hear when I say we've collected 13.8, but the auditor will say it is, as the executive, it is only 12. But I count all of it as revenue that has come into the
Governor,
account.
where are you reading that information? Because on your response here, there's no such explanation. You have given the explanation for the...
Just maybe, Governor, for us to go neatly, can you just go through maybe the response? We see how it...
Yeah, it is in my response.
Yes, please just go
The variance resulted from monies not being swept into the CRF, which are utilized in our county hospitals, which is what I'm saying, morgue and the liquor fund, supported by legislation that utilizes funds at source. That includes FIF. A number of bank accounts that were closed by the county also swept their balances to CRF as per attached appendix, also contributing to the variance. The same was presented in the receiver of revenue statement provided to the Office of the Auditor General within the stipulated timings. The county maintains adequate books of account relating to revenue collection and debt management. And then now what I read, the 3 M-Pesa transactions. That is all in the response, Chair.
Auditor, okay, Senator Sifuna, ask the question.
I'm looking at the reconciliation.
Okay, as you look at the reconciliation, Senator Cherargei, you asking for the mic?
Yeah, Chair, I can see on this issue of reconciliation, I thought it should be something that is more simpler. Number two, Governor, looking at your county-owned source revenue, I don't know whether COB is here today. I didn't hear whether control of budget is here.
No.
It's not here.
I had an apology, yeah.
Yeah, because looking at, you were trying to explain initially, looking at your own county-owned source revenue, you have collected more than 12 billion. One of the items that affects your overall revenue is fire inspection certificate. It has fallen from 254,989,561 to 58 million.
Senator, I think we'll go to that, yeah? We'll come to that.
I thought it's about the variance. I'm coming to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you touch on the variance,
it is discussing about the 12 billion. That's where I'm generating from.
Is it, sorry, Chair.
Or which audit query would you want to come from?
Is it variance of target or variance of actual collections?
No, the query we are dealing with is the variance of actual. Isn't it? Variance of actual.
Chair, I've seen a document there for the reconciliation. What I want to understand from the Auditor General is what documents usually support such a reconciliation, because this is just
cite the document you're looking at.
This is Annexure 2E. Annexure 2E is
yes,
a reconciliation on variance. So what documents usually support this sort of reconciliation? Because this is just a piece of paper.
Thank you, Chair. So it was an issue of bank transactions, M-Pesa transactions. So we needed to trace the same to the bank statement.
So you have seen the bank statements that support this reconciliation?
Appendix 2E.
Yes, the bank statement.
That reconciliation, have you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're okay?
Yes, we're okay with that.
With the reconciliation?
It's the extract of, there's the query on the difference of 32 million M-Pesa transactions.
Okay.
Those could not be traced in the bank statement, but they have given us an extract and we've been able to trace.
So what is still outstanding now? Just let's see if you can understand. Senator Cherargei, there's something you wanted to say?
Chair, I didn't get the OAG, because if they didn't get from bank statements and yet there was a variance of 32 million. So, Governor, apart from FIF accounts of hospitals, because we are dealing with this collection, before I come to my overall global question, is how many commercial bank accounts do you have?
Very many. I don't know the exact number. I can get it. But I was explaining again here last week.
I've assisted you, Governor. I've said I don't want FIF accounts because I know those are individualistic accounts. Maybe
I'll give you the numbers.
Yes.
I'll get the number.
Because
I don't know them often.
It will point out to reconciliation.
I'll get the number.
But your people are there. Chief Officer, through the chair, your people are there, Chief Officer, CCM.
Chair, we have one CRF account where revenue comes in. You know, that is the only place where the balances are reconciled. Apart from that, it is FIF accounts. The FIF accounts are the ones that hospitals hold. There are not two county revenue fund accounts. It's only one county revenue fund account.
Governor, I know that. I can see you have cooperative, you have equity, you have...
Those are collection accounts.
Collection. And that is what we were wondering, what are they used for? Is it for sweeping this revenue, or it goes directly to CRF?
They sweep daily to CRF. When a resident pays...
Which accounts?
Equity Bank, Cooperative Bank for this financial year, and only those two for the financial year in question. And those and M-Pesa.
I can see National Bank.
No. National Bank was closed.
Was closed?
Yeah.
So as of today, you only have three, this cooperative and equity.
As of today, we have one more, which is Sidian.
Which is Sidian.
Yes. Okay. But as of this audit, it's the ones I have listed.
I have not asked about Sidian. Maybe
You've asked which accounts, what do you mean? You can't determine the answer. You've asked which accounts we have.
But this is under the year under review.
The year under the review is the accounts I've given you.
Okay. So that one on City and Sifuna will ask. Finally, the one on the, I know how we'll go about it, so I don't want to remove the eyes of that cake. Chair, just finally on this global figure, Governor, in the last, through the chair, the revenue potential is 63 billion for Nairobi City County under CRA, and you were sharp enough to develop simulations, especially during the formula, the third generation formula.
Yes.
But I can see you are doing badly. You are collecting 12 billion only. Where is 50 billion plus?
Chair, you can't say only. That 12 has never been collected in the history of devolution by Nairobi or by any county. And this is a big amount. And I've said the challenges. I've explained the strategies that we have.
Let me just point out, Chair, can I finish my question?
Okay.
The governor can write it down, then he responds. Okay. I thought that is the neater way.
Okay.
And you know, in this country, the fact that, Governor, this 12 billion, I just want to point out, like fire inspection, you drop from 254 million to 58 million. That is not number 7 in your financial statement. Your financial statement. I'm not using any other statement, and I hope colleagues can see this. Public health service fees, food handler certificate, you drop from 132 million to 106 million. Market fees, you drop from 250 million to 214 million. Chair, I'm just giving almost 3 nets. So what justification can you tell us that despite that the revenue potential is 63 billion, you are collecting 12 billion, and you have heard us, we don't want to operate on mediocrity. The fact that somebody has underperformed does not mean you underperform. So my question is, if the CRA pointed out 63 billion, and now you are collecting 12 billion, what is the challenge you are facing as a Nairobi? Because we know Nairobi is a very important city county.
Yeah,
so what is the challenge?
Yeah, that is a very straightforward question.
Yes, Governor.
Those fire, food handlers, public health advertising have not dropped. They have increased. And they've increased significantly. Chair, let me explain. Allow me to answer.
Chair, on a point of order. I'm reading the financial statement of the governor.
But then you can wait for the response.
Can you wait and hear?
No, can you look at this one statement, because it is on record, Chair.
Yeah, I think the miscommunication is that governor is not restricting himself to the year under review.
I'm not about that year.
So it's about the financial year 23-24, right?
Yes.
So the statements that he's referring to are 23-24. Maybe you address that, then you can cross over into what has happened.
I want to answer on that one. That yes.
Why don't you let the governor just
let me give you the whole answer.
Yes.
You know, you'll understand it. It will make a lot of sense. Chair, in the year under review, we created what we call a unified business permit. Previously, you would go get fire on its own. You go to Tomboya, you come to City Hall, you get advertising, you get food handlers, you get 6 different licenses. And a business would have 6 licenses on the wall. They have all been consolidated into one license called the Unified Business Permit. The Unified Business Permit has fire, has food handlers, has advertising, has pest control, all in one. So look at the increase in Unified Business Permit.
Why is that? Not what? Or not 3?
Yeah.
Not 3.
So, Governor,
from 1.6 billion to 2.3 billion.
If that were the case, Governor, we shouldn't see any revenue from fire.
You can still have, because there are certain entities that have a fire license without a unified business permit, because they only need a fire license. For instance, some professional services, you know, when somebody just wants to pay for fire alone, as a standalone, yet they're not people on our unified business permit, including, you know, different entities. So you have cases where there can be advertising revenue that is not the UBP one. For instance, for, you know, outdoor advertisers, etc., they pay for that alone. But for all business entities, what used to be previously single business permit is what has been consolidated. You have the single business permit, plus fire, plus food handlers, plus all of that into one. That's why you see an increase of 1.6 billion to 2.39. So that's what explains those reductions. So it's only those who pay standalone. Like, can I get many other examples? Who pays for fire alone? Churches, professions, maybe doctors, ETCs.
So, okay, let's just check again. Our market fees, we are paying, it dropped from 250 to 214. Do they also pay other fees that are unified?
Yeah, some people in the markets now have moved to UBP. Some traders, because we tell them, market fees, and it's an ongoing discussion. Many people pay what you call cess. The one you collect every day. But we tell them you cannot pay cess if you actually trade in that market every day. Cess is a temporary payment, like if you're getting into a city, etc. So we're transitioning many of them into having UBP. It's cheaper for them. Instead of paying 200 shillings every day, pay 5,000 shillings for the year. So
Well,
it's an
when
ongoing.
you look at these statements, page 4,
yeah.
For market fees, we were told that under realization in this area was as a result of disturbance during the demonstration in the last quarter of that year.
Yeah, that's a weak reason, but it's true. The disruptions are a few days, but the main thing really is the transitioning people into UBP. And we're giving that campaign because we're telling the people in the markets that the amount you pay every day for a year is much more than if you actually get a unified business permit. Cess is supposed to be a temporary, but people are used to it. Moving people from what they're used to for many years into a new regime takes some time. Yeah.
Okay.
I think, Chair, the only advice we'll give the governor is when they are preparing the financial notes, let them just paint the proper picture so that we don't have these conversations where the things you are telling us are different from what is in writing.
Meskia.
Yeah.
And I think also, I agree with Senator Sifuna, this issue, like food handlers, the reason given here is totally different from what the governor is giving. What the governor is giving, so I think there is a disconnect. And if he is taking the advice of Senator Sifuna, you should advise Senator Sifuna more often to your office so that you don't have this disconnect.
Okay, you can make progress, people.
But Chair, I really need you to commend Nairobi for the revenue. Senator of Nandis County collects 200 million. Now he's questioning 12 billion.
Chair,
you should commend
that
us
is
for the increase.
Out of order.
That's on a light touch.
Chair, standing order 101. If he wants to discuss me, can you bring us
I'm talking about other counties. We're doing comparative.
But that is...
The one county...
Okay, now we have to address...
Chair,
we have to address...
I withdraw Nandi.
The fact that Nandi collects 200 million does not give us governor to look down upon us.
Yeah,
we're not looking down, Chair. That was on a light note, I'm saying.
No, he's trying to cast aspersion in public that I don't have capacity to question 12 billion.
Unless I give you the
Is it fair, Chair? And he cannot collect 50 billion.
Let's make progress.
What is he saying?
Let us
I withdraw that.
Let us
withdraw and apologize. Chair, he must withdraw and apologize.
I apologize profusely.
Okay.
Let us make progress.
I think we need to make progress, but Governor, first of all, never look for praise for doing what you're supposed to do. That's your job.
Oh, commendation.
Number two, no. Number two, if you are the tallest amongst dwarfs, you don't look for praise because to whom much is given, much is expected. Yes. You have a revenue potential of over 60 billion shillings. You have had conversations with us on how we can help as a Senate for you to realize this money. Please, let us focus on that. Nobody is going to praise you in this Senate.
No,
you know that.
We blow our own trumpet because it's complicated.
You can blow it out there, but
we know the challenge.
Okay, let's make progress, Governor, Senator. Let's make progress. And go to number 3, irregular bank charges. Auditor, how are these bank charges irregular?
Thank you, Chair. The financial statements reflect bank charges totaling 68,424,242. They are irregular because they are not well supported. We are not able to tell how they came up. And also there are some rates that were charged, the basis of the rates. Thank you.
Okay. Governor, I know you must have gone through that query.
Yeah, that is true. And we've been writing to the bank about it. We're doing a reconciliation. We have the letters from the county from 4th November. They have the response. The last attempt was 4 months ago because we feel they charged us too much, that bank. they're not supposed to charge us that amount, and the correspondence is attached. If we don't agree,
Point
of
us to
course,
that correspondence.
it's Appendix 3A and 3B.
Yes, continue.
And I mean, it's a regular customer-client, dispute. And so, if it is complete, if we completely don't agree with them, well, then we look at whatever legal action that we need to take. But it's actually something that
you mentioned 3B and 3A. What is there in 3B and 3 and 3B?
There's a letter from the county, the receiver of revenue, who is sitting on my left, Taras Joroge, who is a request for explanation of exorbitant bank charges to Cooperative Bank.
What is the response that they gave you?
They have said
replied at all?
Yes, they have replied. It's the next document.
So what is the response?
They affirm that is their schedule. We dispute it. So we have a dispute on that, Chair.
What is that they are saying there on paragraph 2? Just explain to me. They are saying of Annexure 3B, Chair.
Yes.
That the bank charges daily ledger fees on the revenue collection accounts at a rate of Kenya shilling 70 only per credit entry plus excise duty. Is that to mean that every credit onto the revenue account, even if I pay 100 shillings, they take 70? Is that what it means?
Let me ask the receiver to explain in detail.
Please go ahead.
Yes, yeah, actually that's what they mean. And that is one of our contentions with them.
How is it a contention?
How is that acceptable?
It is unacceptable. That's why we are disputing.
But Governor, the problem is that you are waiting for the auditor to flag that transaction through a period of 12 months in a financial year. How can you not notice that? How is it even conscionable that if I pay for parking 100 bob and it hits the account, somebody takes 70 bob?
They don't take it daily.
That's what the letter is saying, unless there is another interpretation.
They charge you after the fact. So these are charges that come, much later when they charge us. Of course, I mean, if we collect
every credit,
it's the same way like you don't pay rent every day. After a month, you're charged. So when they charge us, they're saying for every credit. You're saying that is completely, exorbitant and wrong. You cannot charge us that way. So if you look at the correspondence, and this correspondence comes after we've been talking. Sometimes there's, phone calls, we go to the office.
So Governor, why does this correspondence then stop there? We are not seeing your protest from to the bank.
Chair, we have actually gone ahead and even written emails inviting them for this discussion for us to get a way forward. We have had a meeting. And we are still going to have another meeting with them.
Tyrus, this is a year ago. We are in November of 2025. This letter came in November of 2024.
The most recent meeting, Chair, was, I think, around 3 or 4 months ago. And so this is a discussion that is ongoing.
Senator Fatima Dulo.
Chair, I just wanted to ask whether you have an agreement on the 70 shillings deduction, or it was just a slap on your face.
They just said they have a schedule.
Because the amount actually that they have deducted so far is about 67 million. That's a lot of money.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Chair, you
So
see, this is one of the
agreement
banks we
at
have
all.
moved away from. And it shows you some of the problems we've been having with this bank. And so it's something that, I mean, if it's not resolved, we'll just take legal action, because how do you explain somebody paying 100 shillings and you take 70? So it's not that they've taken the amount, they're charging us, they're billing us. And we're saying that we cannot pay that. Those are charges we cannot pay.
Senator Mwende
Gataya. Chair, there is no indication that Nairobi County is uncomfortable with these rates. There is no indication of protest, as Senator Sfuda just put it. Because this communication ended just here.
We can share further correspondence, Chair.
Yes.
We can share emails that have been sent. We can add that. Of course, we're not comfortable. How can we be comfortable? And the biggest evidence is us moving away from them.
Yeah, we will come to that, Governor, because in another committee, Chair, the Governor told us that the new bankers are giving us better rates. We have not received that correspondence at the devolution committee yet.
We're waiting for the letter. We agreed that everything, you're there. I think it is before you left.
I just want to say something, Governor. You knew that this conversation was going to come up today. It would have been prudent for you to come with those documents today.
Anything that's requested of us, Chair, we shall provide.
Even maybe without the documents, how different is it from these charges?
Yeah.
Maybe for the other bank?
It is zero.
How comparable
They
is
are
it?
not charging us per transaction. It is zero. That's the
Yeah,
difference.
Can I add a small question? One is, I heard you have a legal attorney here. Is it, if you'll bring 1,000 emails of just correspondence will not help to resolve the issue. The committee through the chair is looking how have you escalated? Have you, apart from terminating doing business with them, how have you escalated this issue? Has it gone to ADR? Has it gone number
No, it has
two?
not.
Number two, which the Mr. Ireri or Madam Ireri will advise, or because that should be the work. Because if you are paying governor from 27, is it 27 to 68 million is a lot. Number two, all the banks or a number of banks, the one that I had mentioned, they were cooperative, they were equity, and then they were national.
It's cooperative.
It's cooperative. So a solution you have taken is to terminate their services.
No, they have to resolve that issue. Yeah.
But you have moved away, you are no longer banking with them.
No, we still bank with them, but we have created other relationships. Accounting can, because if the collection account is still working, we still have our accounts with them. We've not closed.
No, but the question, Chair, I think the governor should be honest. It's
Chair,
very simple.
you don't terminate. It's not like my M-Pesa account. There are some outstanding liabilities with them. It's a process. But the transactions, the salaries, or the hospitals, for instance, we wrote all the hospitals to move.
Yes.
And so it's a process that we're undertaking. You don't just close it in a day. Yeah.
No, I agree. There could be other. Governor, just be precise. Other transactions based on this, have you stopped?
No.
So you are still paying 70 shillings?
No. Well, this is a disputed amount. We've not paid it.
Yeah, I yield back.
What are we paying now currently? Because you're looking at your statements.
Maybe you can explain further.
Bank statements.
But Chair, we have raised that matter. You cannot charge us that. You cannot come up with a schedule on the fly. It is not in any agreement. It is not in our contract with you, and expect us to
Dr. Alegre?
pay such fees.
Then on Annex number 3B, what agreements are they using to recover as tabulated in the two tables there?
They're using their schedule, which is unilateral, and which is something we dispute.
So have they recovered the 28 million?
They are on the dates on the 5th of 6/05/2024, 6th of May, and 18th of April.
But that's not your agreement with them, with the banks?
Yes, that is not our agreement. That is why we have a dispute, because they're doing what we've not agreed on.
But Chair, through the Chair, what kind of dispute do you have if you are just corresponding and meeting?
Disputing something is not agreeing with. Lodging a dispute.
But which
is
forum have you
different.
taken to ensure the outcome favors you?
Yeah, Chair, I think I've answered this question.
The letter was written.
We have written.
Yeah, the
we have
letter has been written, Chair.
We have not
You
yet gone to
pointed out
court.
the
We've not
letter
yet
is
done
here,
ADR.
but I
I've already
have
answered that. I don't know
The
what
letter
different
has
answer I
been
can give.
written.
Have disagreed on
They
the
have
preliminary.
disagreed, so I expected him to tell us, since it is not in the contract, we have challenged in another forum.
Not yet.
Then they will continue billing you, Governor, because they are saying here in this letter that they are doing auto recoveries.
By the way, Governor, there are time limits within which you can claim money from someone. I'm sure Ireri knows. There are time limits. What is it called? There are limitations of actions. Yeah, so you don't just take your sweet time because it might run out.
We won't take our sweet time.
But there's another question that I don't know if it has been answered from this query. The issue of the double entry. There's a double entry here. That was done on 11th April, and another one on 6th May. In there? Oh, it's here. Let me just answer on record.
Which one, Chair?
The double entry, by his pointing me to the last paragraph. I think it's there. We further confirm that the 28 million 4 million debit entry on account that dated that was cancelled the same day. Okay. I've seen that response. It's okay. So I think we can make progress now that I've seen that response. Can we go to accumulated and collected ground rent and land rates, arrears, and penalties? We must have discussed that in the other bullet, the first paragraph. So we can go then to bank balances, variances due to CRF. Auditor, what is still outstanding? 5. Bank balances, variances due to CRF.
Thank you, Chair. The reconciliation is still outstanding.
Just please project a bit to hear you.
Thank you, Chair. The reconciliation is still outstanding.
So the reconciliation, Governor, has not been done. What do you have to say?
Chair, I'll give my chief officer to give specific details on that because we've given a reconciliation statement. I think it's a matter of not seeing eye to eye on it. Maybe Tyrus.
Auditor, even before we get the response from the executive, you've looked at the reconciliation. It's not satisfactory. Or how do we mitigate on this?
Thank you, Chair. It's just an issue of maybe clarity we need to seek from them.
Yes, what clarity?
On some balances that are indicated.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Chair.
Yes, just give him an opportunity then.
Chair was explaining the amount of 1.15 billion was the revenue from hospitals. And then 270 million, 747 was from our liquor pay. Those do not go into the CRF. That is what is under FIF in the hospitals, Mama Lucy, Mbagathi, Pumwani, Mutuini, and the other 120 hospitals. And then from the liquor fund. So that is, but it's still the same auditor who audits also those, but they have different statements, Chair. That is a that is a reconciliation. Is there anything additional?
Cash in transit.
Then cash in transit on 2024, 11 million. So there's a table that we've put on Appendix 5 that just shows that.
Auditor.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, the issue of the liquor in the hospitals, that one has been confirmed, is the aspect of the cash on transit now. That's support.
Okay, that's how much? 11 million.
Yes, Chair. And the 2.9.
Cash in transit, Governor.
Chair.
The auditor is saying that we need to explain the cash in transit.
Thank you, Chair. The cash in transit is because we normally have given instructions to the banks to sweep money to CRF every day at 11:59 p.m. So that money now reflects in CRF as that is collection. Now, at the end of the financial year, that is on 30th June, if that sweeping was done, but then it had not hit CRF, what will happen is that it will not be in our bank statement, and then it will be in CRF for the next day. That is 1st July. So that is a difference that brings in this 11 million.
Auditor, you're not satisfied with that explanation?
Thank you, Chair. That is okay. We only need to go back and reconcile that with the statements that
So you look at the statements and reconcile?
Yes.
And see if that issue is resolved or not?
Yes.
Chair, out of curiosity, I thought the OAG say they normally meet with the entity and something about reconciliation. What is happening, OAG? Or the client is not cooperative?
No, we are still in progress.
Then why are you, these are things that you should have resolved at that level through the chair. You know, this is your report. So if you don't assist us in looking at it, it will be very difficult. Because you are saying you need to go back. I thought these are issues you you are the chair, you brought it out in management letter that should have handled them. So you will need to go back and sit with them again on the issue of reconciliation. The year 24-25. That's interesting.
Thank you. We can make progress. We have gaps in single business permit application number. Auditor, what gaps are these? Yes.
Thank you, Chair. We had transactions that did not have application numbers.
Just, you can voice up a bit. You can
Thank
give
you,
her
Chair.
Yes.
We had transactions that did not have application numbers at the point of audit.
Okay, Governor.
Chair, on that query, you actually agree with us. When you apply, for instance, you do 10 applications, you get serial number 1 to 10. If serial number 4 and 5 are paid for, if somebody pays for those, they move from that list, they move to a paid list. So it is just an issue of sequencing. The management has taken cognizance of the gaps in application number sequencing of SBP and are taking system configurations to be able to show that and to address that gap. Applying does not necessarily mean that they have on the paid list. Somebody applies for a UBP or the license. Now, when they pay, it has to move from that into the list of the ones which have been paid. So you'll find a gap. You'll find maybe 4, 5, and 7 from 1 to 10 have been removed from that list. So those are the gaps that you will see because they move once that invoice has been paid. Yeah. So, for instance, if 10 of us here apply for a license, your application will be number 1 from ISPAC, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. If Senator Cherargei pays and Evelyn, there will be a gap in number 3 and number 5. So you'll have number 1, 2, 4, and 6. I don't know if...
Auditor, are those the gaps you're referring to?
Yes, Chair.
And is that explanation plausible?
It is, Chair, and we have the IT auditors on the ground reviewing the same because this relates to the previous financial year.
Okay. So I think this is a matter you can keep in view.
Chair, just before you rule, while the explanation is noted, no reconciliation has been provided to confirm all 22,369 missing application numbers. Audit, these are your comments. So,
okay.
So, and then has been validation, and then the compliance of 60 period, because we are just reviewing. So what do you mean? And you needed to validate against system blocks. Chair, because it was our recommendation vis-a-vis the implementation period. So where are we? 60 days have lapsed, so. And you know 60 days in Nairobi is not new. Can you clarify that?
In fact, our recommendation was that the county recommends that the county executive should fully automate their revenue collection to seal the gaps in the application number sequence and submit a status report. Do we have the status report to the OAG? That is what we should be asking for. Auditor. Are they fully automated now? Evelyn?
Thank you, Chair. The audit is in progress. That is why we do not have the final status.
Okay, but Governor, now you have full automation now?
Yeah, Chair, remember, there's a move in the system of accounting. We're working with OTA because now, when you move to accrual, the move in the accounting basis, applications will all actually be receivables. So we're working with them to configure, the system to reflect that. That is an ongoing thing. And I think all counties should be doing that process, and national government entities. There's that move from the accounting standards, and I'm glad we have this back.
Chairman, there was a request from this committee for the Office of the OAG to do a systems audit in Nairobi County. That's what the director is referring to, which is ongoing, being carried out by different teams.
So you're saying the systems audit is ongoing?
Yes, Chairman.
And if we finish that systems audit, then we should be able to have a report.
Exactly, Chair.
Can we rely on that to mitigate on this query?
Yes, Chair.
So that don't belabor on it?
Yes, Chair.
But Senator Cherry wanted to, oh, it's okay.
I wanted to remind Chair, because it might have escaped your memory, on the system audit report, but what I need Muriuki to tell us, because we requested like a few months ago, how far is it, how long will it take, is it almost ready?
Where are we, Muriuki?
Chairman, please allow me to get back to the office and come back to the committee.
Okay.
All right. Okay. 7, failure to provide ledgers. Failure to provide ledgers. Auditor, what is still outstanding?
Thank you, Chair. This is related to the year 2023-2024. So it is still under review as the team looks into 2024-2025.
But Governor, why would someone fail to provide ledgers?
Governor?
I think, Chair, the issue was there was a difference in our ledger balances, which we provided and tried to explain.
No. But is that the question, Senator Spooner? The question is, why didn't you
they are
provide
telling
the
you
ledgers?
that their ledgers worth, I think this is 10 billion, whose ledgers were not provided for audit verification.
That is a question.
Chair, if you look at the committee, the second bit about the ledgers provided, however, the ledger balance is now 11.4.
That is
So
not
that's
the
correct.
question. The question is just, why didn't you provide the ledgers? Where were they?
Were the ledgers present in the county at the time of audit?
Yes, Chair, they
You
were
failed
provided.
to provide it to the auditor. This will not be a query here if you had given the ledgers at the time. So the question is historical. Why would you fail to provide ledgers?
Chair, we had provided the ledgers, and that is why I'm even noting the committee's observation.
Why is this issue flagged if they provide
So
it?
there's one entity between the county government and the auditor who's out to confuse the committee.
Yes.
One of you. And
Chair-
we tend to trust our auditors more than you, Governor.
Maybe if I can assist. The ledgers now have been provided, but they don't address the comparative figures.
They're in the process of review.
They're in the process of review.
Yes, as they audit the current year.
Okay, Governor, you wanted to say something?
Chair, but
I don't understand from your time, because I don't understand how ledgers would not be provided. What is the basis
That
of the
is-
audit?
that is our confusion.
Yeah, you know,
Yes.
what are you auditing then? You can't have an audit without the ledgers.
there was no ledgers to audit. That's why they say
Then there was no
failure to
audit.
The
provide.
query is that at the point of audit, you did not provide the ledgers. Governor, we have just finished our audit at where I'm an accounting officer. And there are processes. You go through, you have an opening meeting, there is a draft report, there's a management, there's conversations, even a closing meeting.
Yeah, you should
And
ask-
they tell you, just a minute, that the following documents were not provided. And you just provide them during the audit. So when it was flagged at the point of audit, the person who should tell us why they were not provided, it is you. You cannot also be as confused as us, Governor.
Chair,
And you know, Governor,
Those
before
are
you answer,
misreporting.
when you look at Section 32, I think, of Public Audit Act, the non-provision of documentation under audit review period is a very serious offense, and I hope your officer is noting. I don't know which profession he is, because we might cite him for gross misconduct, for not providing documentation. So what Senator Sifuna is saying, before the audit report comes out, there is a process. So at this point, they are saying there was no ledgers. So Governor, who was it supposed to provide, who did not do their job?
Chair, the Auditor General will confirm to you. I don't know about other counties, but I'm the one who chairs the entry meeting for the audit. I'm the one who specifically follows up every accounting officer on the requests by the Auditor General. I'm sure you've done other counties and you can compare with how Nairobi is. And so I think on this one, they got concurrence later. But I'm the one who, and plus the closing meeting, especially this financial year, I'm the one who did all that.
You were present at the
Yes.
closing meeting.
The
And
opening.
this issue was not there.
No, I think that was resolved.
Chair,
Even your committee
Yes,
report
Senator
shows that the
Lulo.
ledger was provided.
I think we discussed this even at the briefing level. Where the problem was is that the county was not following the prescribed format. That is why we are having this variance as far as the ledger is concerned. So it's up to the auditors to tell us whether that has been corrected or not, and also the review that you are supposed to follow up has been done.
Yes, auditor.
Thank you, Chair. As I had indicated, the system auditors are reviewing the specific ledgers at the moment.
So the ledgers now have been provided.
Yes.
The format.
Yes. They have access to the system.
Chair, I tend to agree with Senator Spooner that either of the entities is trying to confuse us. Because initially the OAG was saying ledgers had not been provided. Governor insisted. So where are we? Is it there?
Maybe you just need to ask the auditor.
When?
At the time of audit.
Yes, when?
That is the finding. The ledgers were not provided for audit verification at the point of audit.
So do they have it now?
When were they provided?
Thank you, Chair. So this is the report for 2023-2024. So as at that time, the ledgers were not presented. We are currently under the audit for 2024-2025. And as we review the current year status, we look back to the original, the opening balances, and they have to review the same before now we conclude on the current year's audit, which is currently ongoing.
So maybe the only thing, members, so that we make progress, is to ask the governor why your officers didn't provide these ledgers. It's illegal. It's a contravention of the law not to provide the documents. And maybe we have our legal counsel can maybe just read what it means when you don't provide documents. Is it possible, Mish, to do that now? We are also on a learning curve, and did you cite that section? It's 62.
Section 62(1)(b) and C of the Public Audit Act. A person shall not B, without justification, fail to provide information required under this Act, and C, without justification, fail to provide information within reasonable time that is required under this Act. And subsection 2, a person who contravenes subsection 1 commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 5 million shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years or to both.
So, Governor, what we just need is justification.
Yeah, no one would be justified not to provide a document. I think the issue had been the format of the documentation. But our accountants have subscribed to that law and to accounting standards. They're members of ISPAC. There's no way an officer would, I think it's unconscionable for that to have happened, Chair. I think the issue was
Now that
the format of how it was.
They say it happened, you must undertake administrative action on the officers who are supposed to provide the documents in time and give that evidence.
And have a discussion with the auditor to confirm.
Yes.
Because I doubt that.
No, Governor, no. You know, we would trust our auditors more than maybe even you. So if the auditors are saying the documents are not provided, it cannot turn that they are provided.
But Senator Dulo herself has said that the issue was format in your briefing. And then when we came for audit queries, the committee comment is that the ledger is provided.
But Chair, I think so. The governor is questioning how the audit query was raised, because he's insisting the ledgers were provided, but the audit queries, the ledgers were not provided.
In fact, the heading of the query is failure to provide ledgers. Now, auditor. But as you say, it's unconscionable not to provide the documents. The finding of the auditor is that there are no ledgers provided for
and even, Chair, the question has been specific that from the on-source revenue, 12 revenue streams from the ledger, totaling to 10.5 billion plus whose ledgers were not provided for audit verification. So even the auditor was specific on the number of ledgers plus the revenue streams of 10.5 billion. So I think there needs to be a clarity there. Even if you are moving to cash basis from accrual or the standards, then there must be clarity. And I think since governor sits in most of these entry and exit meetings, then the question is, where is the problem? Because by the time the OAG, you have sat with the OAG in the meeting, in the draft, in management report, then they come and raise in the OAG query. So are you questioning how the query was formatted?
Yeah.
Governor?
I'm querying that. Because if you look even at your committee proposal, you're saying that the county should expedite process of updating and presenting the ledgers in the format prescribed by the public sector accounting. It's an issue of, I think the query should be failure to provide ledgers in prescribed format, but not a blanket failure to provide ledgers. And that's something I would challenge.
I think, Senator, if I'm to just maybe read our recommendation, it read, county should expedite the process of updating and presenting their ledgers. And they should be in the format. So they should be provided. They should be presented because they are not presented. And even as they are presented, they should be presented in the format prescribed.
You put a comma that does not exist in your recommendation. The recommendation is the county should expedite the process of updating and presenting the ledgers in the format prescribed. The issue is the format.
Chair, can you make a ruling? Because the OAG is saying they had not seen it, they have seen it now, the governor is questioning the audit query. So can you rule so that we move to other things?
No, personally, I would agree with the finding of the auditor that the ledgers are not provided. And our recommendation, we will just put that comma there, that the county should provide the ledgers. And the auditor is saying that the system is being audited. Just finish that system audit. Let's get a report. And for the governor, there must be some administrative action on that person who delayed in providing the ledgers. Let's go to budgetary control and performance. Auditor, this is just a generic issue, an accounting issue. You can keep it in view for the current audit. And resolve prior matters, this is on our side, isn't it? So we can let that one go. And we keep it in view. Failure to prepare and submit Nairobi City County Revenue Authority financial statements. Failure to prepare. Auditor, what is still outstanding? Have the statements now been provided? Where are we?
This issue is still outstanding, Chair. And the Act has not been implemented, so there is no board yet. Thank you.
The Act has not been implemented. So the Act is there. Governor, the Act is there. It has not been implemented. That's why there are no statements.
Operationalization of that revenue authority had taken some time, Chair. And so there was nothing to provide. We had appointed a chair.
What is the current status?
We're still in the process now of hiring a CEO and seconding staff to the NRA. We found them, office space. And so while there are staff who are operating there, they're still the revenue staff under the county. So we'll now move and transition, get others externally, and maybe second others from the county to that new authority, the revenue authority. Chair, remember this act was passed in 2021.
So that now we can use our time effectively.
Yeah.
If it has not been operationalized, we don't need to belabor on the issue.
Yeah, there are no statements, but I'm working on it.
Just a quick observation. In this, there was an approved budgetary allocation, and you know when budget is approved of 550 million. So what we became of it? And number two, I've seen you did appoint chairperson in 2023 who was to serve in 1 year.
Okay,
so
Governor,
what do you have to say on that approved budget?
Yes,
What is the fate on that?
The budget was not expended, Chair.
So do you have...
There was a provision for if we had operationalized it at that year for the operations. But we had the chair, we have a board with representatives from different sectors, including the public. But the operations of revenue are still within, at that time was still within the department.
No, Governor, I agree with the other lip of the part.
Yeah.
550 million, this is an approved budget.
But budget doesn't mean expenditure. There was a provision for it. It was not.
It was not expended.
Of course, yeah.
Where is the proof?
The statement, the audit. The audit will show you that there was no money expended.
Not flagged as
it's
not
not
flagged.
It was
as
not
a
used.
query.
You know, Chair, with budgeted corruption in this country, we must be very careful. So I yield back.
Interesting. But Governor, let me just know, because now that is coming up. To collect revenue in Nairobi,
yes,
you require approximately 550 million.
No,
Because that's what is given for the
you
authority.
need even more. Chair, if operationalizing a revenue authority, you need to hire people. You need already as it is, the department has a budget. You know, there's staff, there's salaries, there's vehicles, there is gadgets, the queries, the machines used to check parking meters, the tablets. Revenue collection is costly, but there's a return on it. So if you'd like us to itemize what the 550 was for, we can. But it was not expended. Rather, the budget of the sector continued being used within the Department of Finance, Chair.
Since it is not flagged as a query, I think I'll let it rest there. That is the amount. So we go to key audit matters. Use of personal email address for official government communication. What is not addressed, Auditor?
Thank you, Chair. We are still using the personal email addresses for official communication.
Governor, do you know it is illegal to use personal email addresses?
No, I didn't know it's illegal. I thought it's just wrong. I didn't know there's a law that says it's a crime. And there have been times of downtime.
Just give me an opportunity to ask the
Sorry.
auditor. Why did you flag it as a query? Because it's saying it's not illegal, it is
Use of personal email exposes an entity because sometimes access to personal emails can go overboard and the controls are also limited. Thank you.
Okay, Governor.
That will resolve that. I think that is straightforward and it's not right.
Okay,
Chair, maybe before you move, there is an interesting observation by analysis of Nairobi Pay system users. So why was the personal email of the governor linked to Nairobi Pay system users?
I am a user.
So why is it linked to your personal email?
I don't know. I can check that.
Because that is the genesis of this query, Governor. Chair. Or the governor wants to control how money is being collected, or he wants to have a view.
I must view, I'm the CEO. I must see how much, even now I can show you how much has come in this
You
minute.
don't have an official email?
I do. But Chair, in terms of being able to view, right now I can tell you how many parkings are on this road, how many people have paid in the market.
Governor, I think we're losing the question.
Yes, that is
the question is, and if you see what the auditor is saying, for instance, if somebody is accessing that system using a personal email and they leave the organization, you know, that is the danger of the data that
I agree. I agree. I agree with what
these systems are not personal to us.
Yes.
Today you are in office, tomorrow you might not be there. That is the danger that the auditor is raising. You can still be able to do those beautiful things you're talking about, seeing how much has been collected where, using an official government email. You can still do that.
I agree.
And why specific Nairobi Pay? Not other, why are you monitoring all the revenue? Why not hospitals?
Should I see
Why not
Nandi
other
Pay?
things?
Should I see Nairobi?
No, Chair,
Which
the
other one,
governor
Chair?
has been condescending against Nandi.
No, but he was
And we
asking
are
me about
taking
Nairobi.
notes.
Of course, I want to see Nairobi's revenue.
But that's the question is very simple, Governor. Why would you be keen on Nairobi Pay? You should just give an explanation without being
I'm keen on Nairobi Pay because I'm the governor of Nairobi.
No, but the OAG has questioned why are you using your personal emails?
Not me. I'm not in this audit query. Why you
No, it is
personalizing
saying
it?
here, it was configured to use personal email, and you are the CEO. And you have even on this answer, you have said...
As the auditor flagged the governor.
Governor, can you hold on through the chair? You have yourself say, I can access. You have accepted.
Of course.
So the question is, why are you using your personal email instead of official email?
I am not using my personal email. I use the
So you are repeating your earlier
governor at
testimony.
Nairobi.go.ke. That is the one I use.
So you are not
There are
using...
certain people who had been on personal. I agree it is wrong and it should not continue. I don't see why we are belaboring. I agree with the auditor. It's a risk. It's a risk. I agree.
So, by the way, you know, we are very active listeners, and that is why Governor said he wants to view and he uses personal email. So I'm happy he has regarded by saying he's not using personal email, but the governor's email.
So that does it?
Yes, that is what he's just saying. But also include other areas apart from Nairobi Pay. Include Bagathi and many other areas.
I see all of them. Every revenue stream, every hospital,
Senator
every
Sifuna?
every stream in Nairobi, I see.
We make progress, yeah. Let's go to revenue collection account registered under the Kenya Revenue Authority. Auditor, what is still subsisting there?
Thank you, Chair. The specific account was closed in June 2024. Thank you.
Does that resolve it?
Yes.
Okay, if it resolves it, it's addressed. Okay. So that issue is resolved. Secretariat. Irregularities in the revenue collection system. 4.1, ownership and control of the Nairobi Pay system. What was the query, Auditor? And where are we now?
Thank you, Chair. The issue of concern was the specific terms and conditions of the service, including features, limitation, and support obligations. Then we have the legal rights and obligation of both parties, especially in case of disputes or breaches. Then provisions on how the service provider ensures confidentiality, security measures, handles and protects personal data in ensuring compliance with Data Protection Act 2019, intellectual property rights to clarify ownership of the intellectual property developed during the service, and service levels including uptime guarantees, response times, and remedies for compliance. Thank you.
Okay, Governor, where do we find all these? Maybe in an agreement?
Yeah, there's agreement, software as a service.
Where is
Actually,
it?
as recommended, it's attached, as recommended by this committee, Chair, in the last audit. All that
Was
support.
it there during the time of audit?
Let me have my officer answer that.
Chair.
And if it was there, why wasn't it provided?
Chair, it was there, and when we were doing these audit queries here, what was discovered is that it had some missing pages, and we were directed by the chair that we provide to the auditor the full document, because that was just a printing error, and we immediately provided that to the
Auditor, when you reviewed it, what do you have to say about that? Were all these questions answered?
Thank you, Chair. We had the same reviewed by the system auditors who are also looking into the system, and a few issues had remained outstanding and verified. And this.
Which ones are they?
The legal basis upon which Nairobi Pay administers and controls the revenue system, the data protection provisions applicable to the service providers in compliance with the Data Protection Act 2019, the agreed service levels, uptime guarantees, response times, and remedies for non-compliance, ownership and intellectual property rights relating to the Nairobi Pay system, and contractual rights and obligations of each party in case of disputes or breaches. Thank you.
Governor, first of all, this where is that 4.1? I can't find it in the annexure.
The fourth last document.
Huh?
The fourth from last document.
Where has it been cited? 4.1?
Where?
Senator Sifuna, where has it been cited?
In the response to this query, they have referred to a technical support framework. The contract that she's talking about, we should be able to see it.
It's here. Chair, maybe the clerk can show the senator. Appendix 4.1.
Because I can see 4A, 4B, 4C. I can't see 4.1.
This is an agreement between in this 4.1, as Senator Spooner is, this agreement is between ICT Ministry and Nairobi County.
You know, Governor, we have had these discussions every time you come to the Senate on who exactly owns this system. The agreement you have annexed here is between the Ministry of ICT and Nairobi County. So to address the questions that the auditor is raising, you send us to the specific clauses. And when I hear stories of pages missing, I'm usually very suspicious. Just if possible, because the specific clauses are listed there in the audit query. Which pages can we see this?
Chair, in page 3, you'll see the purpose of the technical support framework. And then in page 4, you're going to get the scope, which addresses the issues of uptime and security issues. And that continues to page 5 and also page 6.
So who owns this system?
Governor, who owns Nairobi Pay?
This is software as a service. Now we've contracted. This was a technical support framework. It's a government system. That time it was ICTA. We have now further done our full contract beyond the technical support framework through the national government, through the ministry. So it is software as a service.
There's a separate contract?
Yes. But that was now not this financial year. It's now a contract that was tendered and procured.
So who owns it?
I don't know how else to describe that. Can you just explain the vendor? We can explain the vendor through ICTA.
Are you unable to satisfy the auditor on the issues of the legal basis upon which Nairobi Pay administers and controls the revenue system? Do you control it?
For this financial year, the technical support framework was the basis on which we did it. I'm saying we've subsequently been able to contract and can provide that that contract. The specifics should be provided by the receiver of revenue. But it is not a... And I remember when you came, I explained the history of Nairobi Pay. You remember, during the NMS time, a system was developed at the time that KRA was collecting revenue for Nairobi County through NMS. That was done by the former, administration. That system kept on being developed. That time, those officers were the ones who were at Manyani. They did Ardhi Sasa. It's the same team that created all these systems at that time. And so when you got in, many private sector vendors come and say, I want to collect revenue for you, I want to collect, but I was hesitant for us to move into a private sector vendor. So that time we said, look, can you give us, can you onboard the system that has been used, that has been created by government? The same way, there's a move by actually Senate to have one system for counties, which ideally would have become that system. And so to be able to have the technical support later is when we did this support framework with the ministry. We opted to have them give it as software as a service instead of handing over a system to the city. Yeah, because software as a service was recommended here by the chairman of this committee. And so we moved into that technical support framework, and now we've subsequently contracted that entity.
Governor, on page 6 of that agreement, it talks about finances. Unfortunately for us, we are discussing a contract that is essentially overtaken by another, right? So how much do we pay as Nairobians for this system? Because here it doesn't even say. It says a revenue share model. Is that still the case?
Yes, it should be 4%, 4.5%.
That's not a revenue share model. A revenue share model would say we take 30%, you take 70%.
No, we pay 4.5%. That is what we pay. For administration, for running the software, for updating it, for that as a system.
We pay to who?
Now we've contracted Konza. Who? Konza Technopolis. So ICT authority, the Ministry of ICT said they are better to domicile it at Konza. The contract we have now is with Konza Technopolis, and that contract we can avail. So it's still an entity under the national government, but the 4.5% is what is paid to them to run the software as a service.
Chair, I have a lot of problems with this report, because the governor is saying there is no contract between the ministry or Nairobi Pay. But the reading of this technical support is that there is a contract between the Ministry of Information, ICT, and Nairobi City County. The issue on ownership has been answered in page 3 of 9, 1.3 purpose. It says the Nairobi Pay system is owned by the national government of Kenya and offered by Ministry of Course of Information and Technology and used by Nairobi City County government in on-source revenue management. So the ownership is well captured, but my concern is looking at this, because the governor has not provided us with the contract he's talking about. Is this the same contract that? So who owns Nairobi Pay? Is it the national government?
You've just read it out, Senator. You've just answered it yourself.
No, but you know, he has also he's saying there is a vendor who is outside the third party in his explanation. So I want him to be on record.
And his domicile in Konza.
Yes, his domicile in Konza. Number 2, what part do you pay for this service?
I've just said 4.5%.
4.5%, is it not higher?
It's too high.
That can be another question, but that is what we pay.
Can be another?
Auditor, you ask for the mic? Because then now we know who owns this and in what is still outstanding.
Yeah, I have not finished finally.
Okay.
So that you summarize. Looking at the people who have signed here, I'm worried that there is somebody who is acting. And these are very, the last page.
The last page, maybe even before we go to the last page, yeah? Auditor, we know now who owns Nairobi Pay. Okay. So even the intellectual property rights, we know who owns the Nairobi Pay. Are you satisfied with that?
Thank you, Chair. We had an IT auditor on the ground on the same, the one who gave the status.
Confirm this?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's prudence that would have him a chance. The concern was also just the flow of how it came about, because the genesis of, yes, it is owned by the national government, but the genesis of how it came about and how it was moved from the national government, there was a concern of maybe meetings, deliberations on the same. Yeah, but he's still working on, the team is still working on it, and we'll give a report on the same. Thank you.
Governor, I think we need to work with the auditors so that, yes?
Just, unless my memory is failing me, Governor, the first time this conversation happened, I think it was in this same committee, in the first year. And I remember you telling us that this system is now fully hosted by us, that you can go and show me where the servers are. How did it go to Konza? Unless I don't understand how this thing works.
Yeah, that was what we wanted. We wanted to actually have it. We had servers. Because this staff of national government, remember there was an MS where you have staff of national government working at the county, working with the county. If you look at the background on page 2, it talks about cabinet sitting of May 2018, where they approved the joint national and resource mapping using multi-agency approach. So we wanted them to fully hand it over to us, the national government. But when we did that analysis, and this committee actually recommended that it's actually better to get it as software as a service. It will, we don't have to think about many of the running costs of the system. And so that is why we agreed now to engage the national government, to contract them, for them to run it for us. So that if they need to upgrade the servers, if they need to change whatnot, they can do it. But that was the initial intention when we got into office. We said, please just leave it here with us, hand it over, let the county run it on its own. you recommended that software as a service is the best. I'm sure the clerk can remember. The chairman, is very good in ICT and systems-related issues.
Yeah,
and that's the recommendation we followed. On this financial year with a technical support framework, now we have a full contract that we've contracted them we've procured and contracted the ministry through now Konza Technopolicy.
So I think...
So whatever further is required, and they're doing the audit, we've given the entire background.
Never been tabled in the assembly, and it doesn't make any sense for us.
Chair, I just wanted to point out, as we exit, I know this is the last issue.
Yes.
I'm told that report disappeared between the Speaker's office and the tabling, but we'll get that report. Don't worry.
So before
Chair,
you
just-
ask, before you
just
ask
finally,
that,
yes.
before you ask that, Governor just cooperate with the auditors.
As
in
usual.
the ongoing audit, so that we are able to answer all the questions.
They have full access.
Involving the Nairobi
Yeah, it
system.
was on the agreement.
You will ask. You will ask. You will
Okay,
ask.
okay.
Yes, you will ask.
And
that
also,
includes-
just to point out, you remember that Parliament has been it has been unequivocal in the need for having these systems domiciled within government, because you have a lot of private sector vendors. I'm sure you look at other counties and the systems that they're operating. This is more solid as a government, system. But I think that is up to, the different countries that you audit and the systems they're trying to use. This is not a private sector vendor. This is not a private individual. This is government to government, which is more secure. You remember there had been an attempt which was resisted at the Council of Governors to have one revenue system for counties. If that was to happen, it would be this system that has been developed by government. And the reason why, for us, it is very useful. Remember, I've told you the highest revenue earner for counties is land rates. If I go into the system today and put in an LR number, I'll get all the history. We have what we call APIs between the Ministry of Lands, between Survey of Kenya. That is information you will not get from a private vendor. If I put in your number plate because of parking, immediately it tells me this car is owned by Jones Maruma, this is his phone number, and I send you a message. You will not do that with a private vendor, as you should. So there is actually, it's prudent, and there's good synergy, when you use this system that require identification. Just by your name and your ID, I'll get your unique identifier. I can be able to get information for carry purposes or for our own purposes on property, on vehicles, on identification. And that is a move that Treasury had been trying to do throughout the country. We're the only county that has actually now subscribed to this as a system within government. Because we see no value. I see less value with a private sector vendor who doesn't have the synergies, the data sets, the access to information that is domiciled within government. Yeah. That was just for further information.
For all the queries under 4.1, 4.2, that is hosting, 4.3, let's just keep them in view, auditor, so that in the subsequent audit we get more information. Chair Gay, Senator,
Chair,
you want to add
just on
something?
this signing, under the architect of devolution and the county governments, county secretary is a very important person. Why would an acting county secretary sign this document?
Where is that?
On the agreement.
On the agreement, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
do you still have this same person acting?
He was acting at that point. That's why he signed it. In that year, we sent a proposal to the assembly. The county secretary must be passed by the county assembly, which we did send a proposal that was rejected at that point. We've now set up another selection panel, and we wrote to the county speaker under Section 44A of the County Government Act, and as well as Section 58 that provides for the County Public Service Board and the County Secretary. That's an ongoing process, Chair.
So there is a substantive county secretary?
No, there's another one acting at this
So
point.
don't you think it is very dangerous to have somebody acting in office to sign?
No,
very
that
critical
officer
documents?
is also substantively a chief officer. It's not a stranger. That is a substantive public officer. in
He
the
is,
county.
but he's signing here as a county secretary, and he's a custodian of correspondence and communication.
So maybe, Chair, you can. I don't know what the Senate is recommending. So we should not have signed
You should ask your county, what do you call, Ireri?
to sign.
No, not to sign, to advise, because these are very critical documents. Because
There's-
somebody
there's
is
no-
acting, when you have somebody substantive, a problem might arise down the lane.
They take responsibility.
That is why even, Chair, in this committee and in Parliament, we don't even entertain somebody acting in office to appear before us.
Please.
And from his argument,
if they are acting.
So is there a breakthrough with your county assembly that you might get
Senator
county
Sakaja used to be my chair in the Labour Committee and as the vice chair. So some of these things we know. You should ask for a particular period, then you are confirmed. But during that time when you are acting,
you're in charge.
You take responsibility.
Even now there's an acting chair of this committee.
Yes.
Chair, I think governor is taking these issues casually. Yeah, I'm concluding.
Let's
I
just
think
make
he's taking these things casually. We know the importance of somebody who is a substantive office holder to sign a document. So my concern is, is there a breakthrough? You will get a substantive county secretary?
There is.
When?
There is. That is what I've just explained, Chair. Senator Cherargei, I don't need to repeat. I've explained that pursuant to 44A and 58 of the County Government Act, I've written to the Speaker to set up a selection panel that will do this, the Public Service Board, 2 members. Section 44 says with necessary modification, the Speaker says it's not necessary for me to write. So we have a correspondence between us on that issue. We'll substantially fill the office of the County Secretary, County Public Service Board, County Attorney. That's an ongoing process, Chair.
A member just joined us. Please just go on record. Commissioner.
Yes, Kongo Mogeni, Senator of Nyamira, and a member of this committee.
Let's just look at one on effectiveness of internal controls, risk management, and governance. We can look at one item. Number 2, auditor, inaccurate taxpayers' data. What were you querying, and what is the situation now? Inaccurate taxpayers' data, auditor. Did you get that? It is under report on...
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, yes.
The land rate records within the Nairobi P were found to have missing information. We had some that did not have the debtor's name and the parcel's number, and some had system-generated customer's number missing. Thank you.
Yes, Governor.
Chair, the County Government of Nairobi embarked on a data cleansing exercise to ensure accurate completeness and validity of our customers' data in our information systems, which is part of what I've explained, the APIs with the ministry, the land records, KRA records, etc. The exercise is still ongoing, and owing to the multiplicity of revenue streams in the county, a committee appointed to spearhead the exercise started with the land rates, and thereafter shall move to the other streams. The team has made major strides, and all identified gaps and issues are being addressed as per copies of minutes of meetings attached. There's an appendix on the report on data cleansing committee activities, appendix 13. That committee is chaired by the chief officer, Smart Nairobi. We had the then chief officer revenue administration, our valuers, director of rates survey, system administrators, Nairobi pay officers, and revenue officers, Chair. So it's an ongoing process. You must keep updating, your data. Just the same way the ministry also continues to do it. Sometimes people do subdivisions, and so one land parcel becomes 2, or there's an amalgamation. Sometimes there's a sale of land, so the rate payer becomes somebody different. So it's a continuous exercise, Chair, that must continue being done. Harmonization of nomenclature of parcel number. You remember, Chair, that there was a move from the block numbers and parcel numbers, and so the records within the county, of course, then need to be updated to those new numbers on RD SASA. So it's a continuous process, and there's a report that I have attached that shows the different steps that we undertook and continue to undertake.
Auditor, is it something you can keep in view in the ongoing audit?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, I think we can just look at that as the one on the report on effectiveness and risk management. Now, members, I think we can end it here. We can have closing remarks here. Anyone, if you have? On my right, closing remarks, you can donate to Center Nairobi. Yeah. Center Nairobi, yeah. For us.
Yeah, I think these interactions are useful, Governor. We have seen the challenge that you have thrown to us in terms of the legislative push that we need to have, especially in the delegated legislations. We are doing our part as a Senate as well. And for your team, what we require most is actually transparency in these revenue collection systems. And that transparency, we must allow the auditor to do their jobs, the assembly to do their jobs. Let there not be accusations of interference in the works of the assembly or the auditor, so that there is proper transparency. And whereas we note the increment in the on-source revenue collections, we still are way, way below the potential for Nairobi. So if we are able to get this money, you've said it yourself, just the outstanding amount in land rates alone, if we're able to get that, many of our programs would actually be completed. So thank you, Chair, for the time. I always appreciate when the governor of Nairobi is in the Senate that we allow the people of Nairobi to get answers. The reason the last time I was very frustrated is because we were not getting answers from the governor, yet he was there to answer issues of Nairobi. I don't have a problem with a senator from Nandi asking questions because he is a senator for the Republic, but also they should allow the people of Nairobi to get the answers they need from their leadership. And that is why, Honorable Chair, the last session, once we feel that we are not getting the correct answers from the governor, then there is no point of the conversation. But at least today, there are answers that have come forth from the county government. I thank you.
Have I assisted in getting those answers?
Yes, Chair. You are not you are not like the governor who likes to be praised because of doing their job. But you have done well.
Out of order. Governor, are your closing remarks?
Chair, thank you. I appreciate this interaction, and I want to thank all the senators for their time. I always say devolution really is the best gift that we give ourselves as a country in our constitution. It needs to be guarded, and it needs to be effected prudently. Chair, we acknowledge various challenges that we found in counties. And remember, despite other administrative arrangements that have been there in the city, they have not gone even above 10 billion shillings. Chair, in the last 3 years, I am proud of my team that we've always broken the revenue record. At the first year, going to 10.5, going to 11, 12 billion, and this last year, 13.8 billion. This year, we target 20 billion, and it's not a blind target. We know where we're going to get it from, including regularization of unauthorized developments that are started, and a stronger pursuit of property rates defaulters. Chair, we really would want the Senate to support the issue of the rating tribunal and operationalization of the National Rating Act 2024. That law is a very timely piece of legislation. Chair, world over, cities like Nairobi, capital cities, important hubs, have the biggest of their collections through, property taxes. We don't want to burden, but we're saying if everybody paid their share, we would then be able to have the kind of capital that all of us want, a city that is working, a city of order, of dignity, a city that has proper, transport systems, a city that has proper roads, drainage, solid waste management. All of that must be paid for if everybody just carried their fair share of the burden. So, Chair, will be looking for support. At the last meeting that I was here, we proposed to the Committee of Devolution that I do a paper to the Senate that just outlines what we've been able to see, even given my legislative background and now as a governor, that can help us, because I think everybody wants a working capital city. So I want to thank you for your indulgence. I want to thank the Auditor General. This team plays a very important role. We have had very open interactions at the county. Chair, remember, for the first 5 years of devolution, Nairobi's audit report was disclaimer of opinion. Disclaimer. That disclaimer means it's just, there's nothing to look at. That was 2013 to 2017. From 2017 to 2022, it was adverse reports in the city. Of course, I got as governor as 2022, and now we've had our first qualified opinions, and we'll always strive for a better opinion by implementing recommendations of prior audits. Chair, that move for me is It's not 100% of where we want to be, but you must always see the progress that we've made over the years, because Nairobi is a huge institution, 19,000 staff. You know, it's a big institution. So I want to thank this committee and the Senate for this session. I also want to thank the clerks of this committee, the technical teams here, the treasury, the lawyer, my good friend, who is, you know, a very useful gentleman, Kibet. You have a good team. That I will praise them for doing their work, because they do it diligently, and also the fourth estate for their patience. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Governor, for coming.
And sorry, I forgot, and also my team. I must thank you in as much as I've done most of the speaking, but I'm proud of what you've been able to achieve. Next time, Chair, we will have them all, you know, talk about their part. But Tyrus has done a good job. Remember, this is the first time we've had a receiver of revenue, you know. And for a young man to come from outside government and to get into that seat of Nairobi, receiver of revenue, is great stride. So thank you, Chair. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Governor, for appreciating that you have such a gargantuan task on your back, bestowed on your back, to make sure that Nairobi works, as you've rightly said it. It would require a lot of collaboration between yourself and other sector players, the national government, and building a strong team to work with. For us here, we just want the people for Nairobi to get services. And I know we have indicated that the budget targets, the revenue targets are 63 billion. You are 12 billion. I know you're putting your target at 20 billion. And the potential that you've told us, which is there under the Sectional Properties Act, I think that's something you can leverage on, so that you're able to collect adequate money for to meet that target. Governor, I would want to say that I like your idea of barrows. You know, if progressively you're able to implement that, then I know would make Nairobi work. Members, I think it's a good time to end this session. We will adjourn until Monday at 9:30.